to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, and we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show you, the audience, and the world that Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you are located, because remember, this is the day that the Lord has made. We should rejoice and be glad in it. If you're watching on YouTube and Rumble, you notice I am in my work gear. It's starting off the week after having not a blizzard, but in Louisiana, it was, I guess you could call it a blizzard. It was cold. I mean, in Louisiana, when schools close and when half of the companies close because of weather, yeah, you can kind of say that's our blizzard. Yeah, we were in the teens, and probably you my friends up in the north, like the teens, that would feel good. You know, we were we were reporting in Iowa that they were -1 at the time of the caucus starting, and I think it went down. And you know, the view got mad because so many people went out and voted for Trump in bad weather. He should have told them to stay home. Like they would have did the same thing if they were running for office. But yeah, so I'm geared up. I'm ready to go back to work after a couple of days off, and I'm praying that the Lord blesses and keeps me in every way, shape, and form to be a light for him today. And this is one reason why I'm doing this show, is not to bring glory to myself. It is to bring glory to the man upstairs, the Lord above. And I love him. I praise him with all my heart. And I can't wait to one day hear the trumpet of God sound and go meet him. And, you know, before I start this program, I'll give you a little bit of background, a little bit of behind the scenes. I always pray a little prayer saying, Lord, help me to do this podcast and help me to glorify you. And, you know, as a believer, that's what it should be about. And the Lord's been revealing a lot to me. And look, I love doing this podcast, but, you know, my calling is to preach the gospel. And, you know, if I can win one soul out of doing this, well, Isaac, it's politics. How can you do that? Well, it's already happened. And even with Brothers Just Searching, you know, one day, you know, I believe God's can call me to be a pastor of a church or be a preacher of a church, something of that nature. And I'm already fulfilling that calling with me being a youth minister. And God has, you know, showed me things in my prayer time. And, you know, if I do podcasting for the rest of my life, hey, so be his will. If not, so be his will. But guess what? We trust the will of the Father. If you're a believer in Jesus Christ, put your faith and trust in his will for your life, not your own will. But trust the Lord with all your heart, mind, and soul, and he will take care of you. So will the Cajun Conservative always be there? Well, one day I will have to end. That's, every good thing has to come to an end sometimes. But, you know, I don't see it in the distant future unless the Lord tells me something different. But, you know, just a reminder to you, the audience, if you are a believer and you trust the Lord, rely on his word. And guess what? He's going to go ahead and see you through anything and everything you're going through. And I hope that's an encouragement to some of you today. I know it's not on the lines of politics starting off this episode, but guess what? I love to encourage. And like I said, it's not about me. It's about Jesus. And, you know, I just pray that you could, you know, share the show, like the show and all. But, you know, let's encourage one another. If you're a brother and sister in Christ, let's encourage one another to praise the Lord. All right, so I come across a comment the other day on TikTok, and I was planning on doing a TikTok video. Still haven't got to it yet, but I was reporting something, and I can't remember. It was something according to Fox News, and I had someone comment on the video, and they asked me to give them another news source that was credible. Now, I replied back, and I started having a conversation with the individual, and I hadn't really gotten too much into that conversation. There is some conversations on TikTok I really dive into. There's other times when I want to start a conversation, and you, my faithful listeners of the Cajun Conservative Show that follow me on TikTok, or other people that follow me on TikTok that don't listen to the show, but they follow me on that platform, they go ahead and they take the mantle. They say, look, well, what about this, and this? And they start debating, and I'm just watching. I'm like, hey, there's still informed voters here in the country. But like I said, the question was asked, hey, give me another credible source. And it got me it got me thinking for this episode. I know with the Iowa caucus and everything, I was planning on doing it earlier, but sometimes the news cycle comes into effect and you have to report on the news. And I give my opinion on the news of the day. But this topic has really been burning in my heart to talk about on this show. And I thought it'd be pretty neat to ask the question: is conservative news media credible? And that's a question I think we should all ask. As an individual, we need to go ahead and figure out what, the information we're listening to, is it credible? Now, I'm going to tell you right off the jump. These are my main sources for news. When I go ahead and I look at news sources: Fox News, Daily Wire, Breitbart, Daily Caller. Those are my main four. I also have Politico. I have the Politico app, and Politico is not a right-leaning organization. They're very much on the left, but Politico does sometimes a good job, and they bring out a story that catches my eye. I have used CNN back in the day, so I'm just not all right-leaning. I do pull some stories from CNN, sometimes from CBS, MSNBC. Now, do I criticize these news organizations? Absolutely. I think they're more left-leaning. They push a left-leaning agenda. I'm be honest. I do criticize the left-wing media, but it's still the question. The question that I need to ask on a daily basis: is this story credible? Now, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background on this show. I have been flagged on YouTube and social media accounts already, but it wasn't because I pulled from a source that was not credible. I picked a story that big media tech thought wasn't right or something of that nature, and they went ahead and they pulled out the video. And look, it's their platform; they can do whatever they want, But that's the only reason. It's not because I quoted false information. And that's something I try to do on this show. I try to give you, the viewer and the audience, the listening audience on the podcast side, the most credible information I can. I try to find the stories that align with the truth, because I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to come behind this program and purposely lie to you. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I don't want to go ahead and tell you, well, I'm not going to go ahead and quote something because it hurts a certain candidate. Okay, I'm going to use the prime example of that, of Donald Trump. When I first saw the Epstein list a few weeks ago and I saw Donald Trump's name was on it, my heart sunk. I'm like, wait a minute, we support Trump, and Trump was involved with Jeffrey Epstein. And then I started doing research and found credible news outlets that gave me the facts, and it showed that Donald Trump, yes, was on the list because they were asking about major stars. And look, I reported on it when the Epstein list came out. I went ahead and talked about it a little bit, and I mentioned that Donald Trump was on there. Now, some people would say, well, Isaac, don't you know you saying that will hurt President Donald Trump's chance of winning the election in 2024? My little self voice, I'm an influencer, but I'm not that big of an influencer. But I have to report all the facts, and I have to have credible news sources that explain to me what is the facts, not an opinion. Also, on the note, when I say according to Fox News, I'm not watching Jesse Waters, I'm not watching Sean Hannity, and I'm not watching Gutfield to pick the stories of the day. I have the apps on my phone, and I read the news articles, because I promise you, if you get the apps, or you get, some way, or if you go on the web and look at their website, if you read a news article on their website, they give you more facts than an opinionist would. Now, look, I like Jesse Waters, I like Gutfield, I like Sean Hannity, but I don't hinge on every word they say. I used Sean Hannity in the last episode of this podcast to use his montage of how he said, excuse me, that the left wing media is attacking Christianity, and they hate anybody that voted for Donald Trump. I use his montage. I thought it was a good montage, and I don't have time to create montages my own, so I pull from sources like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm right off the jump. I'm telling you, I'm not watching Jesse Waters and seeing, hey, what stories can I get from Jesse Waters? I have done that before, but I don't. That's another thing. I don't watch Jesse Waters 24/7 or Fox News 24/7. But I've already said I pulled stories from Politico, CNN. I pulled from left wing media. But the question is not should we pull stories from Fox News or pull stories from CNN. It is the question is is conservative media credible? And I believe some of them are. Okay, look, I'm gonna give you the reason I picked 4 conservative media outlets: Fox News, Daily Wire, Daily Caller, and Breitbart, is because they are the most credible ones in there. There is some conservative news outlets that are not that credible. Okay, look, I'm gonna even throw another one there: Town Hall Media. I use Town Hall Media. There are multiple newspapers in Town Hall Media, but I have their app. I read their stories and I pull from their stories. There is some credible stories in Town Hall Media. Look, let's even give a couple of shout outs to a couple of podcasts I listen to that are credible because I know they pull the facts. I listen to the Scott Forrest show. Love Scott's show. He's on point. He's in opinions, but he pulls stories that are fact. Culper's Canteen Cup, the same way. These guys do their research. Two Mics Live. They go live on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I listen to their show. Sometimes I don't listen to it live, but I do listen to it after, and they have some credible facts. They make sure that what they say is truthful. And that's why I choose those newspapers, because they are credible. They do give the facts. Now going back to the comment that led to this topic for this episode. Give me a credible news source, not Fox News. And when I asked, well, why is Fox News not credible? They said that it's mostly opinion based. Well, I hate to bust the bubble of any person that's on the left listening, but major news networks, that's what they are. Okay, and this is including Fox News. You know, like the Daily Wire's podcasts from Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, all of them. They're giving you their opinion. This show is not a news show. This show is an opinion show. The Cajun Conservative is an opinion show. I give you my opinion of a news story. And that's what the Daily Wire's podcast does. But their apps and their news organization, they're pretty good on point. But when a person asks me to give them a credible source besides Fox News, because they feel Fox News is more opinionated than news, well, they need to look at their own news organizations or the left news organization. CNN is majority left. Think about this, right? Watch CNN next time. Just put on CNN, and when they're talking about a topic, you're going to see 7 leftists with 1 conservative. And look, Fox News does the same thing. Fox News will have a panel, and there's 4 or 5 conservatives with 1 left-leaning person, and both networks are bad for this. The way they lean, they let them talk, and the left-leaning person, or in the case for CNN, the right-leaning person, they can never get a chance to talk. And if you notice on this show, we've had leftists on this show. We let them talk. I ask them a question. They understand it's respectful. We let the person talk, and then I ask the question, and they have enough respect for me to let me ask the question, and I have enough respect for them to answer the question. But CNN does the same thing Fox News does. It's just opposite. Also, you have to look at all these conspiracy theories that were given that have turned out to be true. The latest one was the Hunter Biden laptop. We have a news story from yesterday that said that the Hunter Biden laptop, the DOJ finally admit that it was credible. But you had MSNBC, CBS, and all these left-leaning news organizations saying that this was a Russian collusion, a Russian hoax. The 2016 election, you have the Democrats running around saying that Donald Trump was not the legitimate president because Russia helped him and influenced the election. Come to find out through the special counsel investigation, it was not true. Russia did try to influence the election, but Donald Trump was not involved. But you have Rachel Maddow, you have the people at CNN, you have all these people that have not admitted that we were wrong in that story. Why? Because it helped the Democrat candidate. Fox News has some issues. I've come on this show and I have criticized Fox News on a number of occasions. But are they a credible news source? Yes. Because they, their content is mostly true. I'm going to say mostly, not all, because you're not going to have a perfect news organization. But for a person that is on the left-leaning side to tell me, give me a credible source besides Fox News, and they say Fox News is not credible, why? And that's why I ask the question to a lot of, why are they not credible to you? Well, because I'm a liberal. Okay, that don't mean they're not a credible source for news. Okay, look. I'm going to say about CNN. CNN probably right 70% of the time, and I'm being gracious right there. I was originally going to say 50. But CNN does report news. They do report of natural disasters. They report shootings. But when you go ahead and say, well, a credible news source, don't say, well, Fox News is opinionated when CNN isn't. I'm using CNN and Fox News because those are the big two right there. But look, let's even use that because they both do the same thing. Think about it. Fox News will report a story, and then they bring in a panelist to talk about that story and give their opinion. Fox News, CNN does the same thing. CNN, they will have a shooting or they will have something go on in the country. They will pull out their experts, and their experts are gonna talk their opinion. That means CNN is an opinion-based show at that time, or CNN is an opinion-based network at that time. I'm just tired of people asking me to give them a credible source and act like, well, he pulled from Fox News, which means it's false. You shouldn't have that. You shouldn't have that feeling between somebody that's talking like this. Okay, look, if I pull from, let's say, Alex Jones's website, you can doubt me. Okay, because Alex Jones has some wild hair ideas. You can go ahead and say, look, oh, he pulled from Alex Jones. I can't believe he pulled, man. But I never pull from websites like that. I pull from credible news organizations. That's why I don't quote that much from CNN. But that's my opinion. I don't feel they're a credible news organization because of the facts that they hide. Look, the prime example, then we got to wrap this up and go home. Remember CNN, hey, this is a mostly peaceful protest, and they had a burning building in the back. They were saying that the riots of 2020 weren't that bad. Just now, they're starting to condemn the border crisis. But for a while, they were like, oh, well, the Biden administration has the border closed, and we had millions upon millions of people showing up. That's why I don't consider them a credible news organization, because they deliberately hide news. And look, I know he's on another network now, but why was Andrew Cuomo asked to leave CNN? Because he refused to report on the news of his brother in New York. Now, that's family. I know that's family, but still, he's supposed to be a news reporter. He's supposed to report the news. That's it. This all came from CNN. Don Lemon. Don Lemon's not in CNN no more. But guess what? He is now. He's doing his own thing with TikTok, which I always ask the question: will he do better than Tucker? But he won't. Don Lemon, wild ideas that he reported on his show at the time, and they were incredible. And this is why I choose conservative media. Conservative media is more credible, in my opinion, than the left-wing media. Because sometimes, and look, not all the time, but there is examples of Fox News not reporting things that I that's why I said, give maybe Fox News 80 to 90%. But is conservative media more credible than left-wing media? Yes. In my opinion, it is. But on the same lines, too, if you pull a story that 5 different newspapers all quoted the same, and like me, I choose Fox News to use. If 5 news networks are saying the same thing as I'm saying on TikTok or this podcast or on YouTube and Rumble, it's credible. Don't come tell me, well, it's not credible because you use Fox News. Well, if the whole nation, the whole news media is saying the same thing I'm saying, yeah, it's pretty credible. You shouldn't doubt who I'm picking the source from. But and look, that's my opinion. Look, I know there's going to be people that's going to watch this and say, well, you're dead wrong. I think left-wing news outlets are more credible. And you have a right to your opinion. But I believe and look, I could dive into the multiple stories that CNN, MSNBC, CBS, NBC, all these people that they quoted stories. I just used 2, the Hunter Biden laptop and the election of 2016. That's just 2 of them. There's multiple stories. How the media, now I'm talking about mainstream media, have twisted and have hid information from you so you would not think a certain way. And like I said, a lot of these conservative medias quoted some stuff, big tech and all of them like, oh, that ain't right, that's a conspiracy theory. Well, it's funny how a lot of the conspiracy theories are coming true. They weren't that conspiracy theories. No, they weren't just theories no more. Who reported on it? You look at the facts, who was right? That was conservative media. And look, my last note before closing out this episode. Do your research. Go ahead and make sure what you're reading is accurate. But there is a lot of conservative media out there that they're just they're out there. You have to make sure what you're reading is correct so you can be properly informed. And if you're not properly informed, guess what? You're gonna believe some wild things. And look, like I said at the beginning of the program, I'm gonna say it again. I like talking about the truth. I want the truth to be the cornerstone of this podcast. If I don't have the truth, I could turn off this microphone and go home, and I should never make another podcast again. But if I base my information on the truth, I'm going to be all right. And this is, look, that's why I only pick certain newspapers or certain sites I look at. Because any other ones, I feel they're far-reaching. With that being said, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. Thank you, as always, for listening to the show. If you can, please subscribe and like the show wherever you're listening this program at. Go check out the website, the Cajun Conservative Show, the CajunConservativeShow.wordpress.com. We got some great things lined up for the next couple of days. Please remember that Jesus Christ is King. He's coming back, and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart. Remember that he's sitting on the throne, and he is king, and he's coming back, and he's coming back soon. So you should be ready for his return. Remember our affiliate marketers, Give-A-Derm and HairClub. Also want to give a shout out to Smith Trucks and Equipment Sales. Please go ahead and check them out. All their websites are in the bottom of the description. Thank you guys. Love you. We will see you next time on the Cajun Conservative Show.